All right, this video is Lab 5 for Intro to GIS, where we're going to be focusing on layouts. When you download the Lab 5 folder from Canvas, there's going to be this zipped folder here. You're going to right-click, extract, and then it goes to our downloads. And then just like the previous labs, you want to set a download location that's like your Geography 11 lab. So here it is right here. I've got mine set up right there already. Um, so then once you are there, you're going to open up the outline file right here. The outline file looks just like this. It's got some of the important specifics from the lab, font sizes, font colors, types, and things like that. I'm just going to move it over here on my other screen so that you can see ArcGIS Pro with the whole thing. Now, opening up our folder here, um, we've got our geodatabase full of data, and then we've got this project file right here, ArcGIS project file. The project file is how you're going to open this lab. So if you just double click on it, it will open up ArcGIS Pro. And as ArcGIS Pro opens, it should open up and look like this. Now, sometimes people email me and say my map opened and it's got a bunch of red exclamation marks um, right by the data here. And then if you have those red exclamation marks, then your map window is not going to look like this. It'll look a little bit different. Um, but the project file, what it does, it doesn't store the data, but it tells ArcGIS Pro how to display the data. So it tells ArcGIS Pro to make the points this maroon color, that make the towns yellow, makes the Mojave Road dotted like this. It makes the Mojave National Preserve light green, and then the wilderness places, those are places that do not have roads in them, dark green. And then we've got the surrounding California counties and US states. Um, I've set up this data to look like this. Uh, I've clipped it down from a larger data set. So the roads is actually like a US roads file, but when you have every single road in the United States, it's really big, it's really slow. So I clipped it down so you only have the roads in the surrounding area. Yeah, some of them are dirt, some of them are paved. And then the Mojave Road, I isolated from that roads file, I believe, and then separated it to be this dotted extra line. I think so. I might have just drawn it myself, but I don't remember. It's okay. Doesn't matter. Now, if you open up your file from the zipped folder, so it's still zipped here. It's in my downloads, still zipped. Um, then watch what happens. So I'm double clicking from the zipped folder, and when it's zipped, yeah, the data exists there, but it blocks ArcGIS Pro from reading the data. So notice it says this is read only now. I'm still logged in. And then none of the data shows up. And we've got these red exclamation marks there. When you have that, it 99% of the time means that your file is still zipped up and Pro can't access the data as it's supposed to. And so the fix for that, just close Pro, go back to your zip folder, right click, extract all, and then you should be good to go in it, and then open it up and it should look like this. Okay. Now, that's our data set. This is land type is something that I've clipped down from a larger data set. Here's the attribute table. It's just those two features, things within the Mojave National Preserve. Roads we talked about. Towns is also from the like populated places data set from the U.S. Census. From it's not from like 2020. It's from a couple of years, at least 2007. It's probably 2010 that this is from. A lot of them are really small towns. The 999 means that they have so few people that they either don't count them or there's like zero permanent residents. Um, Mojave Valley has 20,000 people. That's quite a few. But everything else has none or is not counted. Um, I feel like Baker should have some people in it. I'm not sure what's up with that. I might have added Baker to this list because it doesn't have the other features. So I probably did that. And then you can see like no data, less than 10,000 for those other places. Points is another file that I've created. It's just like points of interest within the Mojave National Preserve. I teach a winter field studies class in the Mojave that you might have attended or you could attend in the future. And we'll visit usually all of these different locations. Okay, so that's the data. Now we're getting into fine tuning this. This is kind of all step three of creating a good map of like we have our objective. Our objective is to show the Mojave National Preserve. Our data, I've given it to you. We've talked about that. And so the rest is going through the layout details. And so we're making this all look the way that we want it to look. So to start off, we're going to do roads first, as it says in our outline. So then we're just going to right click on roads, go to symbology. And then for this, we're going to do single symbol unique values, change that to unique values here. And then change this to, I found highway number is a good way to do it. If we do group it by, you can just hit H on your keyboard and it goes to highway number. And then this gets everything with a number. And then everything that doesn't have a highway number is going to be separate. So let's see, this one, the bluish is most things. Let's change that to just this black road. Okay, so that's, oh, don't do that one. But we want to group all of the numbered highways. So we're going to hold down shift and hold down shift and click on each of the numbered ones and it gets them all. Then we're going to right click here and group values. Okay, label it as highways. Cool. And then we're going to change the symbol for highways. Just click on that. And then it is one of these double line is good. And then we're going to change that to properties. And then now change the color to olive. Here's dark olivenite. Okay. And line width, let's make that a little bit thicker. We'll see. No, that looks awful. Let's do, no. Maybe that's what I meant to do. Is double graded and then olivenite here again. Okay, how's that? Yeah, that's all right. It's a little bit ugly. You can change the color if you want to. Okay, back arrow to go to the rest of them. So we're going to change the other values to gray 40%. If you mouse over it, it gives you the percentage, but it's the fourth one down, or well, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth down, fourth below white. Gray 40%. Apply, and then all those other roads are grayish. And then this one, we want to be gray 40% as well. So we've got our labeled highways and then all other roads. Great. Now for points, I've set up you saw this attribute table. The way that I set it up was if it's a regular like point of interest, it's just a 0. And then if it's a campground that we stayed at, then it's a 1. So I just use the binary system for this. That's a convenient way for me to categorize stuff. You can always go back and change the labels, but we really just have this for like grouping symbol purposes. So that's how I set it up. Binary's easy, I think. So we're going to right click on points, symbology. change single symbol to unique values. And then the field is going to be camp. And we've got not campgrounds and campgrounds. And so for all other values, the 0 gallery, we want circle 1. And then properties, so we can change the color. It's going to be size 1. And, oh, sorry, circle 1, size 10. And Tuscan red. There it is, Tuscan red. And apply. Okay, that looks nice. All right, back here. And then we're going to change our campgrounds to triangle 1. You can look through and, there's a lot of kind of specialized stuff. Similar to what you saw in lab 1 or 2 if you used ArcGIS online. You've got all these symbols. And then properties for that, we want size 14 and color any blue. Usually a darker blue is a little bit easier to see against this. I tried lighter blues and they're just a little hard to see. Okay, so there's our campgrounds. Cool. We can close that. Now, getting to labeling. There's a couple different ways to label features. One of them is just with graphic text. And so if we right click on, we want to do the Mojave Road first. Right click on that, label, and then it brings up at the top the labeling tab here. Now, when I click label, you may not have noticed it added this 0. And that's because on the Mojave Road, I have not added a name field. So I was kind of lazy when I made it and I didn't add a name. So that's why it just came up with 0. We click labeling up at the top here. We can turn that label on and off by clicking this button in the upper left corner. Okay. Field, if we had multiple fields, you could label shape length and that still wouldn't be very helpful. Okay, so we don't want that label. That's not very good. What we do want to do is instead of a graphic, or instead of the just the automatic text, we can add a graphic. Okay. So when we add a graphic, we're going to go to map tab, add graphics layer. And here's our graphics layer. From the graphics layer, this adds us add in a bunch of different graphics. Graphics layer is kind of settings for the entire layer itself. Here's individual graphics. And you've got some options for text, just, regular straight text, and we could do straight text and say, oh, let me do that again. Just straight text, drag a box, that'll give you the size of it, double click to edit it, and we could say Mojave Road, and that'd be okay. That's not good looking, but it exists and you can change the size of that and color and everything right here. That's nice for just adding simple labels here and there. Delete. We can also do for kind of unique features like rivers, borders, boundaries, we can add in a curved text. It used to be called splined text. And so this lets you click different axes here and then double click to finish. And it lets you enter in, curving text. Okay, so to edit the appearance of this, we're gonna move it around a bunch, but let's try size 16 to start with. Okay, it's a little bit bigger. We want let's expand this so we can get more properties. And actually, these preset ones aren't too bad. Um, boundary is okay. Just to have a different font, but I do want to do color dark brown, cherry wood brown. That's nice. And then we can do over here formatting, and we're going to do letter spacing. Boost that up to 100. This is going to really spread it out. So then, okay. Um, that's all right. The curve is a little bit wonky, so I'm going to tilt it like this. And that actually looks pretty good. Um, the outline doesn't call for it, but I am going to add a halo onto it uh, here a little bit. Yeah, it's a white, slightly transparent halo that is size 1, and we'll see how that looks. Ooh, maybe size 2. See how that looks. That's better, yeah. And then stretch it a little bit. Notice when you stretch it, then the font size changes. I like that. I'm going to tilt it a little bit more. I think that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. So you may need to, like I've done that more than once. This will be your first time. You may need to delete that, start again. You cannot edit the vertices of that, or you can't edit them easily at least. So it's kind of easier if you get those wrong, just delete it, start over. You can always copy your text so you don't have to type it again, and you can just paste it in each time. But that is curved text. Feel free to go nuts with that in the future. Great for, you've seen it in like professional geographic maps at some point in the past. Okay, so for other labels, we also want to label the points layer. And so again, we're going to right click on it. We could also select it like this, select it, and then go up to the top labeling, and it should be controlling the points layer here. And so if we click the label button, check it out, labels pop up for the points layer. If it didn't choose the correct field, so it did automatically choose the correct field. Usually it'll try to label the any field titled like name. But it could label this on accident. It could label the year that I camped at different places. Um, but name is what we want. And then for setting up the name, um, again, we can choose from some of the pre-made ones, like uh, point of interest. Oh, it's got that. That's cool. That's not bad. It's a little bit small. Um, so I'm going to change that to size 10. And I don't like the font Corbel. I don't know who chose that. Um, you can just do Arial, hit A, and that'll bring Arial up. This does have a halo. If you wanted to adjust the halo, then we could do, back to our text symbol properties. I know that button's kind of hard to find, and then expand halo here. And then you can choose for the halo symbol, this is just white, black, white 50% transparent, black 50% transparent. Depending on what you want, white 50% works pretty well. So stick with that. Halo size 1, that's fine. And then actually I want the font to be bold. We have some options. Bold italic, apply. Let's see. Just regular bold. And that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. So what the halo does, being slightly transparent, if you zoom in, it'll change font size, but I wanted to like get kind of a constant background under it. You can see that the white halo is, you can see some of the dark green under it. You can see some of the light green under it. And so it lets the labels stand out, which is the purpose of a halo, while also allowing the label to not stand out too much. And you like feel free to mess around with that. The white not transparent label is a little bit too prominent, in my opinion. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now, if you wanted to, you could convert your labels to graphics. And so if we right click on points, convert labels. Convert to annotation is useful. This stores your labels in the Geo database, and so it kind of makes it part of the map. Temporary graphics, I think, is a little bit easier to deal with, so I'm going to do convert labels to graphics. Mojave, we do want the unplaced labels to graphics. Make sure you do the unplaced ones because what it does is like if there's a label conflict, then it will not place some of the labels. Um, and so we want to make sure that we get the unplaced ones. I think that looks good. Run it. And now these are all graphics. And so we can click on them. We can move them around if you want to adjust the placement. By the way, I'm using my middle mouse wheel to move these around. And so now each of our labels is graphics and you can arrange those as desired, which is helpful. So once we have the labels set up, we do want to check to see if there are any unplaced labels. Okay, so we have our label properties is they look good. We like them. We're going to go back to map. Actually, no, it has it here. So view unplaced. And so the labeling engine um, will kind of add and remove labels automatically based on like a conflict. So if there's something in the way, then it won't place a label. So we've got lava tube, rock spring trail. Um, the way to get it to place labels, just a couple, then like we can adjust the priorities. We can say that our points is the most important thing on here. We can move things down if you want other labels to have priority. Nope, it goes away. Weights, points, most important. Oh, we can actually increase that if we want. But another useful tool to have is to convert these to annotation. So if you right click on them on your point field, we're going to go convert labels, and we can convert to graphics or we can convert to annotation. It's a little bit the same. Graphics, they're stored just in the graphics layer. Annotation, they get stored in the geodatabase as a like a geodatabase label item. We want to make sure that we convert the unplaced labels to annotation. And that should be good. Run. And okay, you'll notice that those unplaced labels went away just now. That seems like a problem. In the current version of Pro, they made it not very intuitive to actually place these. But if we go down to status, um, it'll say placed or unplaced. To get it to place them, we have to click on the unplaced ones, double click, and then change it to placed. And double click, change it to placed, and it adds those in. So you can unplace. Let's see, Watson Wash here, unplaced, and then click, and it goes away. Placed, click outside, and it updates. Now this is the most hidden place to have that. In previous versions of ArcGIS Pro and ArcMap, the old one, it would give you like an unplaced annotation window that popped up, and it was kind of hard to find that too. But in this, I honestly I had to look this up to figure out how to place those unplaced labels. So kind of dumb, but that's how they have it now. I imagine that will change in a future thing. And if you ever forget, like, look it up. Somebody on either Reddit or the ArcGIS help forums will have had the same problem as you, hopefully, and they've looked it up, and that's how you do it. So we've got all our labels placed now. They're all in the placed category. That's great. Not intuitive location to store that. So to get them to be editable, then we're going to go to select points and then modify them, annotation. And that will let us move and change the text for these individual annotations. That's the purpose of having it converted to annotation, so that we can move the individual ones around. But again, even with that, we still have the frustrating hidden thing in the attribute table to view the unplaced ones. That was back in here before you convert to annotation. Okay, so that's a frustrating thing, but that's the way that they have it right now in ArcMap, and sometimes they change that, sometimes they don't. I think we're good with labeling. Let me know if you have questions though. Okay, so now we're happy with how all of our layers look. Our points are nice. Our labels are good. I'm happy with the Mojave Road, even if it overlaps a little bit. That's fine. Don't worry about it. We can close our annotation thing. Gets our normal mouse clicker back. So then now we're going to insert a new layout. For this one, we're going to choose landscape, just like that. Layout, landscape layout, cool. And then from here, your new layout is blank. We're going to add the map frame, which is our Mojave map frame. A rectangle shape, kind of like this, for our Mojave map pane that we had here. Here's our map. Here's our layout. So think of the layout as a piece of paper. This is, 8.5 by 11, because that's the layout that we added, was 8.5 by 11 landscape sheet. You could do portrait, and like as you hopefully thought about in your hand-drawn map, difference between portrait and landscape really depends on what you're showing. In this case, yeah, the Mojave Preserve is landscape shaped. It's kind of wider than it is tall. But we're also going to add in some other elements here just for fun. Now, oh, not that. Okay. So on our layout, here it is. We want to have our rulers and guides active. You can turn those off if you don't want, but like guides are nice to have. And then you can change the orientation. You can copy this to multiple pages. You can do a couple nice things like saving layouts. So we want this frame to be 6 inches wide. So we can do 0 to, there's actually the measure right there, 6 inches wide. Okay. And 7 inches tall. So we're going to shrink it down to 7. Great. And you can see on the X and Y, 6 and 7. And then use the measures here to get it about 1.5 up from the bottom, or sorry, just 0.5 up from the bottom and 0.5 up from the in from the edge. And then we're going to insert another map that's called a locator map. So to get a locator map, we're going to first do new map, and it's going to just add a second map here. And we can call it right here, instead of just map, we can call it locator. And then from the Mojave layer, let's go and grab some features. We're going to get land type, counties. Actually, no, really just land type. Let's try that. And then Control C to copy it. Go to locator, Control V to paste it. And we've got our Mojave layer. Now back to the layout. insert map frame. Let's choose locator or Mojave. We're going to do locator. And then we're going to add this new frame right here. And it doesn't look good yet. We're going to right click, activate it. This lets you control just the map frame. And we're going to zoom out to the Western US like that. That's fine. And then we can go back to layout like that. From there, we can insert what's called an extent indicator. And so under the insert tab here, we've got the option for map frames, map frame, cool, extend indicator in the map frame. And here it added that extent indicator into our locator map. And so the extent indicator is tied to the other map, the Mojave map. So name, extend to map frame, cool. Source, it's going to be the map frame. Shape, you can do rectangle, okay. And then the outline of it, let's change it to, let's try red, a red box, apply, and we can see right there that it changes. Now, what's cool also, just to kind of test the idea of it, is let's activate our Mojave map frame. So activate. And as we move this around and edit it, you can notice kind of grayed out right here is that the extended indicator changes as well. So if I zoom out, then the extent indicator adjusts so that it's automatically showing you what is in this map frame. Pretty neat. Okay. So then we'll leave it like that. Back to layout. And we've got our extent indicator here. Back on locator map, I do want to, if you notice, like this looks kind of stretched out and bad. It's because it's not projected. We want to properties, coordinate system. I want to do a projected coordinate system. Let's go to national grids. No, not national grids. Continental, yeah. North America, North American datum 1927, contiguous USA. Okay. That's going to change the shape of this slightly. And then if we look at layout, North America, it looks a little bit different, which I think is good, just like that. Okay. From here, I want to adjust this a little bit more, our main map frame, like that. I think that's good. You can adjust that as well, however you like, and then back here so it's not activated anymore. Okay, so adding some map elements. We're now going to add in, let's adjust that actually, 7 inches tall, that's better. Yeah, that's good, okay. Some map elements. So we're going to go to the insert tab again, if you're not already. And let's start with a legend. So for the legend, we're going to place it, if we're going to place it right here. It lets you draw out the size and shape that you want for it. And then legends can be a little bit difficult to edit if you don't know what you're doing. But they're all right if you mess with them a little bit. And so there's four different tabs of options here on the legend properties, and then there's symbols to edit the individual things. Notice also it shows up on the table of contents here. I think some of these map elements are self-explanatory, yeah. Some of them are not. So we're going to remove the ones that are obvious. We're going to remove the Mojave Road. We're going to remove roads, counties, and boundaries. We don't need that stuff. That's not even on there. And then we're going to arrange this in order so that it's points, towns, and then Mojave land type. And that's better now. Okay. From there, we do want to edit this so that it's one column. So if we drag that, it'll be one column. And then for the legend items, we can get rid of all other values. We can get rid of the name feature one. No, not that. We'll figure out how to remove the gray from there in just a minute. We do want the items, but we don't need layer names. We don't need headings. And then labels we do want. Keep in single column, yeah. And then we're going to edit these names here in the legend over in the actual items. So over here in camp, we're going to edit this text to say major sites, and it updates in the legend. Here, we call that campgrounds. Towns we're good with. For this, we don't need all other values to show up, not properties. So we're going to do symbology and then uncheck all other values. And it removes it from here, and it removes it from the legend as well. That's what we wanted. And then for Mojave land type, it's this one. Symbology, uncheck, and look, it's gone from the legend. And that is now cleaned up, not messy. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is when you have messy legends with kind of all the extra stuff in there. If you've got things like in the legend, if you leave on the like headings and it's feature one, that doesn't mean anything to anyone. If you got things, sometimes the layers names are not comprehensible. Like Mojave land type, that's okay, but it's got no spaces in it. Either edit it here in the title or just remove that. Sometimes you may want to remove labels, not in this case. If you have descriptions, you can add or remove those, and then you can change the text size here as well. But this is okay for now. I'm happy with that legend. Let's align it right there. Looks good. Okay, other map elements, north arrow. If you click the drop down, it'll let you choose the styles. Do whatever you want. I usually do this one, and then it's going to have you draw it to place it right here. Don't need to make your north arrow too big. That's a little bit big. Yeah. Okay. And actually, that north arrow is correct for this map. Now, here's the thing. If we activate this map frame and add in a north arrow, notice that it automatically aligns with north, which is like slightly offset on our contiguous US map. And so you want to be careful about which map frame is selected. We had this one selected when we added in the north arrow. So the item that we're adding is automatically going to be set for that. This north arrow, not necessary, but because we have two different norths, we do want to have this north arrow kind of obviously tied to this one. And then next item, we're going to select this map frame again and add a scale bar. There's lots of scale bar options. Use whatever you want. I think most Americans are used to miles, but I have no problem with you doing kilometers if you prefer. Drag that to get your size. And then again, the scale bar default is a little bit dumb where it'll give you, decimals and all kinds of things. The nice thing is it does automatically update. So like just to test that, let's activate this data frame, add in a scale bar. And that distance is 760 miles, which is accurate for that data frame, not for this one. So 20 miles, 760. Why are they different? Because it depends on the data frame. So we can delete that. This reference map doesn't need a scale bar. I prefer to have these rounded off to some kind of usable number. So something like that. And we can adjust this. So fixed bar width, adjust the number of divisions, adjust the division value, adjust the width, division value. You can change these to let it like only give you whole numbers depending on the size. So you do number of divisions, just going to do multiples of whatever we left it in. That's a little bit big. I think your legend also doesn't need to be overly large and doesn't need to take up too much of the page space. Let's shrink that a little bit more. Drop this down. Okay, so then our next map element, we've got north arrow, scale bar, legend. We're going to add in title. For that, not dynamic text. Dynamic text is cool in that it changes based on some of your map properties. In this case, we don't really need dynamic text. But we do want to have, here's our insert a graphic that's just straight text. We're going to click here, drag it. If you like, you can copy paste the title from the lab outline. Ooh, that's not what we want. And so the automatic text does this weird thing where it's got the formatting from the lab. That's not what we want. Oh, here we go. Mojave National Preserve. Doesn't need to be A. So feel free to type that or just copy paste it. Here we go, Mojave National Preserve. That's obviously way too big. Zoom back in if that happened to you. And then for setting up the title, we can do text symbol, and there are some pre-made ones that you can choose from. But I'm fine with Tahoma. We can add a something fancy to it. See if that, no, that doesn't look any different. That's fine. We can do a shadow if you want to. We could do a blue shadow offset. Ooh, yeah, I like that. Change it as you want to. You absolutely don't have to do blue if you don't want to. That's kind of cool though. I'm leaving it. Great. It does look slightly different than the example that I have posted, but that's okay. Okay, so that's our main title. And then we're going to, we want our subtitle look the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click this, right click, copy it, Control V to paste it, shrink it a little bit, and then we want to add in our subtitle. I'm copying this from the lab outline and then paste it in here. You can type it out if you want. Desert Solitude in Southern California. I guess that should be a capital S. And then shrink it a little bit to change size. I'm okay with that. Yeah. Um, and then finally, in our example, we have, and in the outline, we have some descriptive text. So I'm going to copy that from the outline. It's kind of a lot, so you probably don't want to paste it. And then, it gets the spelling and everything correct as well. So you're going to just highlight it all, Control C. And then we're going to add in text. And then drag your text box right here. Control V. Oh, that didn't work at all. Delete, Control V. There we go. And then for text symbol, obviously we don't want it to be size 100. Let's change that to like 12, a reasonable size. Yes, apply the formatting. That's a little better. Still kind of big. Maybe size 10 is better. Let's align it with the top there. Let's move our legend down. Maybe center it. Should the text be centered, or is it good like that? Maybe that's okay. And then we can stretch this a little bit. So it's just a description about the Mojave National Preserve. I took that description from the website. So if you Google search Mojave National Preserve, this is on a lot of their like publications and flyers. The acreage is probably changed because they added in a couple different sections. The Castle Mountains area is incorporated. Okay, so that's good. Now, some other elements to add in. We're going to use the insert rectangle tool. So here's insert rectangle. Then we're just going to drag an edge around the paper. We'll drag around the paper like that. It snaps to the edges. Okay. And then symbol, color, you do like a light yellow and not solid fill. We want gradient. Yeah. Direction. 45 degrees. That's what yeah. And then apply. And that looks okay. Let's do interval like 40 is the 5 was the default. Here's 40. So that you can't see the individual gradations. That looks good. That's what I was hoping for. And then we're going to right click on it, go to order, send to back. So it's behind everything. And so now we've got this color fade from the corner, and you can, again, you can edit the direction that that comes from with our gradient fill. And it's kind of hidden back there, but if you don't want 45 degrees, you could do any radial direction. 0 is going to be the top, 45 degrees the upper right corner, 90 should be the bottom, so on around the circle. 360 would be the top again. But I think that looks good. And one last thing, it's very important in all maps, is your name. So we're going to do straight text again. Click here, text, and just add your name there onto the map so that people know who made it. We can center it. That's the center. Okay, pretty good. Feel free to add anything else. Esri automatically adds in citations for the base maps. You don't need to cite my data. If you want to, you could add in the website for Mojave National Preserve here. If you'd like to, you can activate this again and kind of adjust the view of this. You want as much of the Mojave to be showing, um, while uh, not showing a bunch of the like kind of side areas. So in the upper left corner here under map, you can do this fix zoom in. That works pretty well, and then just drag it a little bit. I think I'm happy with that. That's good. Okay. And then finally, you're going to save project up here, save it, and then share, uh, print to PDF. That'll let you save the PDF and it'll look good. You can also so like export this layout so you could have a series of maps that have the same visual appearance. But the way to like send this to me, you're gonna print the layout, print it to a PDF, landscape orientation, print, and then save it, lab 5, and that PDF is what you're gonna give to me. That's fine. Lab 5. Save and printing. There it is. You can double check to make sure it's saved in the right spot, but project should be done. Congratulations. It's kind of a long one because there's a lot of fine tuning that has to be done, but uh, feel free to spend as long as you want adding, removing, changing this more as you like. Hope you had fun. Bye.